next deep dive in the Gaia's Custodians podcast. Today will be a spicy one. I sense that. It's time for radical truth. It's time for a quantum leap, not just for me, but for all of us. And I'm looking forward to contribute a little bit to this quantum leap that wants to emerge. As always, I brought a couple of items to guide our exploration journey today. Let's see what I brought. The first one are these like super old school headphones, cable headphones, not Bluetooth headphones. And they represent for me the kind of sacred work that I'm able to do when I work with clients. When I do all sorts of coaching and training programs, I'm always using these headphones because they are light and flexible. I only use them for coaching. Besides that, when I listen to music, I use other headphones, like bigger ones with better audio. But these ones are like my coaching headphones. And the topic of coaching and the whole coaching industry will be the playground where we immerse ourselves in today. Because lately, I talked with so many people that are now my clients and people that I got to know through social media or in person. And so many people lately told me that they spend an extraordinary amount of money on coaching programs, like really like high 4-figure and low 5-figure amounts on really substantial coaching programs by leaders that are established in this space, not like newcomers, but really like coaches who build a big brand. And in the beginning, they were really excited out of this rush of, yeah, let's do an investment and let's take the next step. I feel it. And then they signed up for this program. And the more time passed, the more they got a little bit disillusioned. The excitement of the beginning faded away a little bit, and the reality of this coaching program kicked in. And they realized, like, the words with which all these people described their situation to me was like, yeah, I made this decision. I invested this like 8K, 12K, whatever in this coaching program. And yeah, to be honest, it's not a bad program. It's good. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, maybe not exactly what I have needed. And yeah, it's okay. I'm not really dissatisfied with, and like these words, they are okay for buying a pair of headphones for $30 and then like, yeah, it's okay. It's like I can do my calls with it. They are headphones. But for investing a substantial amount like this and not being hell yes, that's so amazing. Like every single cent, every single penny I invested in it is like so worth it. It doesn't resonate with me. And in today's episode, I want to explore what is wrong with the current state of the coaching industry and how we might bring that into alignment so that people, and chances are high that if you are interested in what I put out there and if you're listening to this podcast regularly, chances are high that you are in some kind of service industry where you are creating values for people and trying to enhance their lives through what you are doing. And even if you're not, even if you're in some kind of like totally different industry, or if you are like not working at all and just enjoying life in the beautiful nature or whatever you're doing right now, chances are high that you already got in contact with the coaching industry as we know it today. And I was a part now for 11 years of that. In 2013, I started my first coaching business focused on the raw vegan diet. I started 2.5 years ago and I taught people how to change their diets. And since then, many, 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 many different projects emerged. I switched after focusing a lot on the topic of nutrition, I switched more into like business coaching, and then it got even more holistic on your own inner development and how to adjust your living circumstances. And I think I'm a quite experienced coach over the past 11 years now, in many different formats, like one-on-one coachings, group coachings, big online courses, membership sites, offline experiences, retreats, conferences, and so on. I did like many, many, many different formats. And my intention for today is to contribute a little bit into bringing things more into alignment, where clients, when they embark on journeys with coaches, with leaders, with trainers, with teachers, that they are like, hell yes, this is so amazing. Thank you for letting me participate in your program. This is so worth it. Because I think this is a sign of a healthy industry. When the clients are like, okay, I want to give like 7 stars, but I can only give 5 stars. Okay, I will give 5 stars. But if I could give 7 stars, I would give 7 stars. This is what we need to aim for. All right, the next item that I brought is a print of my calendar. Not my current calendar. It's the last week of July in 2020. So almost 4 years ago. Almost 4 years ago, I would say, was my most intense period to this date as a coach. As you can see by the different colors, I was pretty busy during this time. I had like each and every single day 4, 5, 6 calls, client calls, team calls, sales calls, all sorts of calls. I was basically living on Zoom. And in between there were like scheduled pieces of like 30 minutes for going grocery shopping, or in the evening like 2-hour slots for a date with my partner. Yeah, it was a crazy time. Now my schedule looks different, less scheduled, less fixed appointments, more time and more space for creative free flow. And at the same time, I'm now spending more time actually serving people than what I did back in the days. It's really crazy. I calculated like how many of these hours I spent in Zoom calls back in the days were really like value creation, like working with people in a one-on-one setting, in a group setting, like really being with the client. And it's, to be honest, astounding to see that there was like 1 or 2 hours each day for like around 5 days a week. So between 5 and 10 hours a day, I was actually working with clients. And the rest of the time, I had team meetings, strategy sessions, content meetings, leadership meetings, marketing meetings, sales meetings, team meetings, all sorts of meetings, all sorts of stuff I did, and then a host of other tasks of like writing newsletters and shooting social media videos and post-production of them, and the new website, and so many different tasks I did that were not predicated to bringing actual value, but coming to a point where you will be able to bring actual value to people. And I think this dynamic is fundamentally broken. When I speak with people who are clients of mine, or with whom I interact like in any other different container, and I ask them like, really tell me like, how many hours a day or how many hours a week are you working with actual clients? They say like, yeah, maybe 1 call a day, or maybe 3 calls a week, and the rest of the time is just like marketing and like all sorts of other tasks that hopefully one day will lead to people signing up and coming into your group container, into your one-on-one container, or whatever. And I think this ratio is fundamentally broken. If it's our intention to serve people, then we should, for the majority of our time, be occupied with serving people and not with doing all sorts of stuff that is like important, but that is not serving people. And the crazy thing is, at this time, where we were making a lot of money, seven-figure revenue year, 2020 was like the most successful business coaching year I had so far. I was working with my ex-partner at the time. We were running the company together, and we had around 30 employees, part-time and full-time employees and interns. And I would say out of the, let's say, 600 working hours a week that the whole team was putting into the business, only my 5 to 10, let's say 10, and my partners, we were both the brands going out there, my 10 hours a week and my partner's 10 hours a week, in total 20 hours a week, were us actually serving people in spaces, in like physical or online spaces. So out of the 600 working hours the whole team put in, only the two of us, for a fraction of our time, were actually working with people, and everything else that me and my partner at the time and the whole like 28-person entourage, everything else was just side work, support, marketing, sales, like design, communication, all sorts of other stuff that was so important at the time, but that was not spent on actually serving people. So if you do the math, that's around 3%. 3% of our collective team's time was spent on serving people, when the mission of our business at the time was serving people. But we did question this at the time. It was like totally normal to have a big team and to post like multiple times a day on Instagram and YouTube and podcast and TikTok and Facebook and like all these different things, and to have like multiple people in your sales team who are doing calls with current clients in order to get them to sign up for your upsell program, or with new clients. And we were like all super busy. You see that in my schedule, like we were fucking busy. And still only 3% of our collective time went into creating value for people. And still, and that's the third item I brought today, still we were making a lot of money. As I said, we were doing over $1 million in revenue in the year 2020. And yeah, the reason for that is simple, because the programs were really like expensive. There were like 2K programs, there were 5K programs, there were like 12K programs. Of course, there were cheaper offers too, for $600 or for $200. And we were like building this whole big assortment of different products and tying them nicely into each other and automating and like building epic funnels and everything that you learn out there in all these business coaching programs that is important. And from an outside view, you could say we built a pretty successful business because we were doing a lot of revenue. And still, when I look back to these times, I sense that we were not nearly serving what at the time was like really the essence of the business, to serve people. We were not serving as much as we could serve. And through all this other things that we did, of course, there was a huge burden on the two of us as founders. Like each and every month, we paid around 40, 50K just for team salaries, like each and every single month. There was a huge pressure for us to launch the next thing and the next thing and the next 50K launch and the next 100K launch and the next 150K launch and the next 70K launch and so on and so on. And we were like launching all the time. And as you can see, like I was fucking busy. I was working so much. Probably 70 hours a week, I would say. Even on the weekends, like here, the full week, even including the weekend, was like full on like meetings and masterminds and like connecting with other entrepreneurs in order to grow and in order to scale. And yeah, And the company was really driven by, of course, it was driven by our mission, and it was big time driven by money. Because we created this rat race for ourselves because of these like super high team salaries, because we had these like big support team for doing all that, for maintaining all this. And that created a lot of pressure, and we were doing the next launch and the next launch and the next launch and the next launch and the next launch. And I don't want to go back to these days because I sense that it wasn't healthy for me and for my partner as brands. And it was not the ideal use of our collective time for our clients. Of course, we created amazing success stories, and then there were people that like skyrocketed with their business, and like, of course, we created amazing success stories. But if I see it from above, this whole setting of 3% of our time going into actually serving people and the rest into like all sorts of other important things, like 3-hour meetings, how to create a nice financial structure for the business, how to be able to forecast our revenue, and like all these, for me personally, now are artificial things that are so far away from creating actual value for people, but that were a necessity out of the design, like caused by the design of the system that we built. And yeah, over the past 4 years, many things inside myself have shifted. And one of the major contributors to that is the fourth item I brought today. And that's Charles Eisenstein's book. It's the German version right now. The English version is called The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible. And Charles' work, which for me began with reading Sacred Economics, and later on reading the More Beautiful World and The Ascent of Humanity and all his other books. He did a more recent book on climate, which is nice too. His work deeply impacted the way I do business, because within the More Beautiful World and his book Sacred Economics too, he questions the dominant narrative in business, and he proposes an alternative way of working, of serving, of giving, of gifting. He calls that sacred economics or gift economy. And I talked about it in the podcast episode like two episodes ago, in the second issue of Gaia's Custodians, that I made the decision to transition fully into the gift, that I will no longer sell anything. I made the decision to not do sales anymore, to not sell any products, to not, like, no matter what I create, if it's an online group format or it's a book or is it a retreat or whatever, there will not be any price tag. It's all a gift. It's a gift to the world, and people are invited to sense, to check in with their hearts. If out of gratitude they feel the urge to contribute something to me and my team being able to do this work, of course, we appreciate all the incoming gifts with enormous gratitude and enormous appreciation. But nobody is forced to give anything. And this decision was set in motion by me diving into Charles' work over the past years. And this leads me to, when I connect to how I did business back in the days and how I see so many coaches, so many trainers, so many entrepreneurs, so many personal brands, so many teachers out there doing business, to propose a fundamental paradigm shift that I'm undergoing through right now. And that's a process that already started a couple of years ago, and I'm leaning more and more and more and more into it. And that has profound implications on not only the way I do business. I don't even call it business. I just call it serving. The way I serve people with the gifts that I was given to. And at the same time, it has a profound impact on the people that I'm serving. Because I now have the capability to put in way more than 3% of the time into actual serving. And I sense that doing this shift, letting go of sales, letting go of marketing, letting go of trying to convince people to don't know what they will get, but make the decision to put in 2K, 5K, whatever anyways, this requires all this apparatus. Of course, if we need to convince in order for our business to work, and if we need to convince a stranger to give us 5K, of course, we need to post multiple times a day on Instagram and 3 podcasts a week and TikTok and Facebook and like having a 2-person full-time sales team who like always calls with people, and then another 2 people who are supporting all these groups and moderating the Facebook group and connecting with people and on offline, and like doing all that is only necessary because we have this really high bar for working with us. Okay, you need to put in 2K for the coaching program, otherwise you cannot work with us. If we are upholding this crazy barrier to our work, of course, we are forced to spend 97%, or maybe for other people it's only 80%, or maybe it's only 60%, but probably it's the majority of your working hours every week to do all sorts of other things that probably one day lead to a person making the decision to sign up and to come into your space and to work with you. If we uphold this high barrier, this high bar, then we are forced to do all that. We are forced to spend all this time and like sales meetings and marketing meetings and doing this and doing that and 5-hour content production and then redesigning the website and then doing a 3-hour mastermind with other entrepreneurs, how to boost your sales and how to build a funnel and spending time in Facebook Ad Manager and all this shit that I really like. I don't want to be doing that. And probably neither you. You are here to serve people. And like the thing that I always enjoyed most was being with people. My favorite is in person, but online is nice too, in a really intense space where transformation happens. This was always my favorite thing to do. And like the 2 hours I was in our like leadership programs, and I worked with small group of 5, 10, 15 people, and we were really going intense for 2, 3 hours, maybe sometimes like even full day sessions. This was always my favorite. And the rest was like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to have like my long asana to-do list, which I needed to cross off in order to be able to then 2 times a week be able to work with these people. And this doesn't resonate with me anymore. And it's only because we are upholding this super high bar to work with us. If we would let go of that and put our gifts out there, we, at the snap of a finger, could let go of all this shit. Like everything in the schedule. I could figure this out. I don't need to do marketing meetings anymore. I don't need to do sales calls. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. Like, I don't need to spend like 2 hours on a Monday morning reviewing our content of the last week and how well it performed, how many people signed up for our freebie, and all this stuff that I don't want to do anymore because I don't enjoy it. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy actually serving. And the thing is that through assigning a price tag to my product, I force myself into this system that we just explored, into this. Through assigning a price tag, I force myself into doing all that. I need to do all this upfront convincing, negotiation, marketing, sales stuff. Because of course, when people don't know me, they are hesitant to pay 2K upfront. They even hesitant to pay $300 upfront for a simple online course. And it's good that they are hesitant because there is so much stuff out there that is not really good, that is not really valuable. And through putting a price tag on my product, a fixed price tag, I'm forcing myself into this dynamic. And I'm not serving as much as I could serve. and I get incentivized to cut corners. And this is regardless, and maybe this triggers you, this is regardless of how well-meaning, how ethical, how deeply rooted in your values you are, how like from the bottom of your heart you want to create value in the world. If you're putting a price tag on it, you cannot not start to think more about the numbers and the sales. And like it was the same for me. When we did a launch, then we set a goal. Like if the program was 2K and maybe a good launch would equal 80K revenue, that was enough to pay for all the expenses and to have a little bit of like safety buffer on the side and to be able to grow and expand. And 80K was a good launch. And then we said like, okay, if it's more, if it's like 100 or 120K, it's an extraordinary launch. And if it's like less, if it's just 50K, then it's a bad launch. And then we calculated, okay, in order to be able to make 80K in revenue with a 2K product, we need to have 40 sales. And then the whole sales team was focused on, we need to do 40 sales at least. And the marketing team was focused on providing the sales team with enough leads and doing good ads and doing nice Instagram posts and podcast episodes and all the stuff in order to be able for the sales team to have a high quality amount of leads of like, let's say 100 leads. And if they have a 40% closing rate, then okay, we can hit the target. And these were the dimensions we were thinking in. And of course, we were thinking about, okay, we want to have the right people who will really benefit from the product later on. But our thought, like our whole focus, our whole time was not 100% predicated on creating value. And we created this whole like artificial realm of like revenue and sales goals. And like we were playing for the money. Like the money enslaved us to think about it all the time and to optimize for it. And the people, and I think it's impossible to escape this if you're attaching a fixed price tag to your product. I think it's really impossible to escape this, no matter how well-meaning you are. It's really impossible to escape this because the people get a little bit more like a number and less like a person. And it's like, okay, 40 is the goal. Like if one person doesn't sign up, okay, no problem, then we will just sign another person up. And this fundamentally doesn't feel right anymore. And it goes against the inherent uniqueness of everything. Like 2 podcast episodes ago, when we spoke about the gift economy already, I compared the inherent uniqueness of everything in this world. This tree is like is unique. There's no other tree like it. It's only like this tree. There's no other tree like it. But if I attach a price tag to it, if I cut this tree, I can sell it for $1,000. If I attach a price tag to it, then it becomes a commodity. Then it becomes replaceable. I can cut this tree or another tree. Then it's just like a tree. Even in our language, it's deeply ingrained. Even in our language, if I call it like a tree, a human, a microphone, then it's replaceable. And our conversion of all these things into money does that. If I can get a new microphone, or if I can get a new tree, or a new cleaner for my house, or a new shirt, or whatever for the same amount of money, then all these things become replaceable, and we use the connection with the inherent uniqueness of life. And this way, life becomes less rich and less worthwhile. And the only way to change that is to step out of the monetary realm, which doesn't mean that it's not okay to receive money. It's beautiful to receive money. But in the future, I don't want people to brag on Instagram about their 6K months where they did so much revenue because they had this nice marketing and sales machine and they're really good at convincing people. I want people to brag about their six-figure gifting months. I want people to brag on Instagram like how much value they contributed, that they received an inflow of gifts of 150,000 over the past year or month or even day or hour or whatever it is. If your product or your service is so great that people could pay less, but they decide to want to, like, because of their gratitude they felt when they received this amazing product or this amazing service, they wanted to give this amount, and you receive that, and this amounts to, in total, whatever it is, what people are sharing on social media, like all their figures and facts and revenues and so on. If this amounts to a high amount, brag with it. Congratulations. I really congratulate you because you created so much value. You provided nice things for the world. But the current state is just like bragging for your ability to sell. And there are a lot of nice salespeople out there, but there are not so many good value delivery people out there. And that's really my intention, to go so hard, so all in into the gift economy, and take as much as possible people with me. And there are a lot. Like almost every conversation I have is down the road leads to okay, if I want to rethink the way I live, and if I want to really step into my values, and then work and money almost always comes onto the table, because most people are not 100% in the new paradigm, that they don't need it and that it's not a topic. It's almost always is a topic. And then we speak about living in the gift. And that comes up. And so many people are making slowly this transition. Some people are even like making this transition super fast. And it gets more and more and more. And I envision a future, and this is what I'm going for. I envision a future where a coach and a possible client are having a call about the client joining this online program. And then in the end, the client says, wow, that feels so nice, what you can offer. I'd really love to embark you on this journey. Tell me, like, how can this look like? And then the coach says, yeah, beautiful. I'd love to work with you. I really feel a strong resonance. I think we can create magic together. Look, here are the details. Like, it's an 8-week program. We will have 2 calls a week. There will be one call on Monday and one on Thursday. And in the meantime, you can contact me. Here's my Telegram number. And like, for all of that, for all of this journey, it's $1,500. And then there's a moment of silence. And the possible client is like, 1,500? You're not living in the gift? Like, so many people out there, they're just gifting their products because they're convinced that the products will bring so much value that they will be taken care of. And you're not doing this? Oh, maybe there's something wrong with your product. Are you not convinced that the product brings so much value to me that I, in the end, will feel a gratitude and a deep urge to give you the 1.5K or maybe even more? You don't trust that? You don't trust your work? You don't trust the product that you created? Hmm. Yeah, maybe, like, thank you for your time, but I think I will book another course. It it's not in full resonance with me. This is the future I'm going for. This is the future I'm going for, where it's so normal to do the right thing that the people who are doing the wrong thing will just go out of business. They will not be able to 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 thrive anymore. And I always, in moments like these, I always think about Elon Musk and what he did with Tesla, which is something really beautiful. He forced through building these electric cars and really going all in into that and creating, like, building this whole narrative. He forced all the other car manufacturers to go into electric too. I'm pretty sure that before Tesla hit the stage, in the boardroom of BMW or Mercedes-Benz, like, I'm pretty sure that there was not a lot of talk about, oh, let's do something electric and let's do something good for the planet and let's cut back on emissions. And probably people were not talking about this. Probably they were talking about making more money and building, like, nicer, faster cars. And not a lot of people were really caring about reducing the impact on the environment. But through Elon Musk, like going all in, he forced everybody to do that. And BMW innovated, and Volkswagen innovated, and Toyota innovated, and everybody innovated because they needed to, because they felt like, oh shit, Tesla's going so all in, and there's a huge traction in this direction, and it really probably is the right thing for the planet, even though it's not perfect. I don't want to get into deep discussions about electric vehicles. They are far from perfect, but they are a step in the right direction. And because he's going all in, and like the market will follow. If we don't innovate, like in 10 years, nobody will buy our cars. Okay, we need to go to electric too. And this is what Tom Chi is the founder of At One Ventures, a venture capital firm supporting impact companies that are really creating something valuable for the planet. And he said, if you really want to change something in the world, the consciousness shift will follow the money and not the other way around. As beautiful as the vision is that people will in the morning just wake up and they will meditate and they will have this big epiphany and they will fully transition into the new way of being, and they will care for other people, they will care for the animals, and they will go vegan, and they will like go zero waste, and they will spend time in nature and support other people. And like, as beautiful as this vision is, people will just do that out on themselves. Tom Chi says this will not happen. You need to make the good thing on a financial level more attractive, and people will make the transition out of financial reasons, out of purely selfish reasons, and then after that they will ask questions. Oh, okay, like your Tesla, you're selling so many cars. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me about it. How does it work, and so on. And then the consciousness will follow. But BMW probably made the decision to innovate on electric cars, not for the consciousness, but for the money. And hearing him talk about that set something really powerful in motion inside myself. And it was this intention to make the right thing, to make the good thing for pure selfish reasons more lucrative, more attractive than the wrong thing. Right now, in the world that we are living in, the wrong thing is in many situations more attractive, more easily accessible. Like the Coke is almost always cheaper than the freshly squeezed organic orange juice. And that's why most people gravitate towards the Coke. Most people gravitate towards the cheeseburger for $1 than to the $12 nice vegan poke bowl. And that's a problem. And if we want to change these dynamics, we are invited to make the right thing more attractive. And this is my intention with the gift economy, going so all in and connecting with so many people and their hearts that this is the right thing to do, that more and more people will make the transition, that someday it will not be feasible anymore. If you are working within this field of green and yellow consciousness, people who are caring about other people, people who are caring about like the whole, and it will not be feasible anymore to sell your products with a fixed price tag. So you're invited to innovate now, or you will be forced later. And that's the kind of disruption that is really important for the planet. We need more leaders who are going with full conviction into the direction their hearts tell them, in order to be able to collectively build the more beautiful worlds. And what I learned over the past years is that it's not about intention. It's not about like well intentions get sacrificed pretty easy if we are in a setting where it's difficult to uphold them. There's this nice study, I talked about it in my book, in Gaia's Custodians. If you didn't read the book yet, you can download it now. It's, of course, living in the gift. Get a lot of great feedback already. People are diving in, and um, perspectives are broadened, and hearts are touched, and really, really, really touches me that this book already in its first days was able to create and to, yeah. You can download it. The link is below. And there's a study I talked about in the book that people who are in a hurry, who are under time constraints, are less able to help others because they are themselves in a stressful situation. Like some participants were told, oh yeah, you have ample time, you can just like walk over there, the study will take place in this like other room, take your time, you're like already pretty early. And then the people who were told that there was no time constraints, they have like ample time, and then they saw someone laying on the floor, a person like looking really miserable. You saw that this person needs help, and almost everybody stopped in order to help this person because yeah, they had time, and of course they were well-meaning human beings, and they stopped and they helped. But there was a second group, and they said, "You're already late. You need to be really fast. Like go over there. The study will start. And if you don't hurry, you will probably not be able to participate anymore." And almost everybody passed this person on the side who was really suffering. Almost everybody passed. No, like almost nobody stopped. And the human being hasn't changed. Just the container, just the circumstances have changed. And if I am in a container like this, and I have bills to pay, and I have so many employees, and I have targets to hit, and so on, it's almost impossible not to sacrifice my values, not to cut corners, not to focus on the revenue, not to focus on the money more than on the people. It's almost impossible. And that's why I believe it's so important that we change the playing field, that we change the way we operate. If I don't have these 40, 50K a month, huge pressure, like really, really, really felt of salaries that I need to pay, and of like all this infrastructure that we needed to that was needed to uphold the setting that we created, and all these like fees for all those affiliates and technical programs and Copcard, and like we paid so much money like there and there and there and there and there and there. And of course, then yeah, I'm systemically forced to focus more on the money. But if I transition to the gift and I can let go of all that, and I just connect with clients and I talk to them, and then we align ourselves to work together, and then I contribute my gifts and we hop on a Zoom call, and then afterwards, or in the meantime, or in the beginning, or whenever they feel it, they contribute, and they just have their bank details, and that's it, and they donate, and then the transaction is finished, and I don't need all that. And in this container, it's so much easier to embody your values, because there's not this strong pull that money has on you. Of course, there's a little pull too, because you need to pay your bills, you need to pay for your food and so on, but the pressure is way less. The pressure is way, 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 way less. And the more you lean towards this new direction, and the more you realize, wow, it actually works. Like every time, I cannot tell you how beautiful it feels every time I log into my online banking and I just see random gifts from people, even some from people I don't know, who just downloaded the book and say like, oh, I feel this urge of gratitude, I want to send you $40. And I'm like, I don't know you, thank you, wow. Like what this does to me, it's like, it's something completely different than logging into my PayPal account and see this transaction of 40K, which was like, okay, which was this transaction of $40, which was like, okay, I sold this. Of course, you needed to pay it. Like, yeah. Not even a thank you. It's just like, yeah, okay, you received the value. And now it's like, thank you. And on the other side, it's thank you too, because the other person received the gift too. And I strongly sense that it has the potential to heal the world. because we as creators are able to serve so much more. And like it's a no-brainer. Like compare one coach serving 5 hours a day and then doing another hour of stuff here and there, and then like working day is finished and then he goes outside and spends time with his children and so on. 5 hours a day of really working with clients. And then there's another coach still in the old system, hustling and working an hour a day with with clients. Would it surprise you if in the first scenario the person gets so much better at serving people because he practices 5 times more? Like with athletes and sports, it's a no-brainer. Of course, if you work like if you're training like 5 times the amount as another person, of course he will probably get so much better. Like all the sports superstars out there, all the Lionel Messis and so on. If there was another, maybe even more gifted person who trained like 5 times less, he will probably not be the world's best footballer. So this is what I meant with opting for what truly feels right. Will someday, the more people will do that, lead to forcing the other ones to align as well, or they will just go out of business, because the best coaches out there, they will all live in the gift because they are able to train so much more. They are able to get so much better over time because they are working 5 hours a day with clients without sacrificing themselves, without hustling. Like these times, I think I was working 70 hours a week and I was really stressed. Compare that to working 5 hours a day with clients that really the process that really fulfills you, where afterwards you're like energized and you're like, oh my God, I contributed my gifts and I helped people and they are like smiling and it was a beautiful process. Wow, thank you. And then it's 2 p.m. and I'm like, okay, done with my working day. And then I will go into the garden and play. And yeah, these times I go with the saying of, in order to make it live, in order to make it work for somebody, you need to make it work for everybody. Like this old separation based narrative of more for you is less for me. I don't believe in that anymore. And probably neither do you. And creating a beautiful setting for myself, a beautiful life for myself, where I'm thriving, probably needs to go hand in hand with your clients thriving and your family thriving and the whole planet is thriving. So we are invited to design these like whole systems and to look at them from a bird's eye view. Because when I'm super entrenched in this, like when I'm here in the schedule and I have like 30 minutes of break before I have like 3 more meetings that I don't really enjoy. When I'm really deep down in there, everything that I'm able to come up with is probably just a quick fix or just a small adjustment. Okay, maybe I can be a little bit more effective and then I have like 45 minutes break in between because I cut some time here and I can do the meeting a little bit faster. But this doesn't tackle the issue on a root level. This is just like surface level. Yeah, nice, but yeah. But tackling the issue on a root level means questioning the whole paradigm, the whole like narrative with which we are operating. This control based, okay, I will only give you my gift when you give me your gift first. And then it's not a gift, then it's a cold anonymous transaction. And this leads to the commodification of everything and conversion of everything into money, and we lose touch with the richness of life and end up in these overworked schedules where we are doing so much and doing way too little of the things that truly matter for us and that truly matter for our clients and that truly matter for the whole planet. Like none of my clients really care about me creating this like perfect funnel and optimizing and here in WordPress and in the email marketing tool, and like my clients don't care about that. They only care about like me sitting in front of them and asking the right questions and giving the right impulses, and then transformation happens and they're like, oh my God, wow, this is what they care about. And this is what I should be doing. This is what you should be doing if you really care about serving people. And if you're really caring about bringing value into this world, then this is what you should be doing for the majority of your time, not with 10% of your time, but with 90% of the time, or maybe in the beginning with 70. This will be the new normality. And for now, it's still working to be doing business in the old paradigm, even in the consciousness space, because the new paradigm is not fully there yet. We are in this place between stories. You can still do the old, but in the future, you will not be able to uphold this old setting because people will be like, oh, you're not working in the gift? Oh, maybe it's not the right product for me. Maybe I will look somewhere else. I'm looking forward to this moment. Yes. And besides the whole pricing thing, there's another really, really, really important part I want to touch on. Why I sense that the current manifestation of the coaching industry is not working. And this is a byproduct of the dynamics we already discussed. Because when I'm in a setting like this, and I have 90 minutes for my group coaching call on Friday morning at 10 a.m., because on 11:30 a.m. I have a 30-minute one-on-one coaching, and then at 12 I have a team meeting, and then I have this and I have that. I only have these 1.5 hours for this group, and maybe I can create value in that, but probably it will not be the right container, because real, like true transformation takes time and cannot be forced into a box of Friday morning at 10 a.m. we are all together and then the magic will unfold. Life doesn't work this way. Nature doesn't work this way. Like, it could be that while I'm recording this podcast episode, it could start raining, and then I cannot continue recording this podcast episode. I need to do a break, and then I will continue in the afternoon. And it's like that. You cannot predict it. You cannot control it. And that's how like nature works. It's fundamentally unpredictable. And we human beings created these artificial settings with the illusion of predictability, but in reality, it's not really working. And our clients are paying the bill for that because it's not the ideal space. I believe for true transformation, you need a big space, you need flexibility, and most of all, you need real physical human contact. It's nice that we have that we have the possibility to do Zoom calls and to like work with people that are spread out all over the planet. It's nice to have this possibility, and I'm not against it. But I'm definitely against what I did back in the days, like 100% all online business and all like online spaces with big groups, like 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, 50 people in an online space where when they are lucky, they get like 10 minutes of talking time with the coach, and then the next person asks a question, and then the next and the next and the next and the next. This is not the right setting for real, true transformation. True transformation takes time and takes experience and takes physical contact and cannot be put into a box of Friday morning 10 to 11:30 and everybody has like 7.5 minutes in order to ask that question. No, this is not the right space for true transformation. True transformation is like, okay, I'm here. Come over. Come over for 3 weeks. Live next door. And we will share this whole container called life. And then we let ourselves be surprised by what is coming up. Maybe it will be on a Friday morning that everything falls into place. Maybe it will be on a Saturday evening, and maybe it will be on a Monday while we are having lunch together. This is a transformational space, how I envision it. Inviting people, like the reason why people are drawn to you and your work is because they see you as a kind of role model. They see you as embodying something that they feel drawn to, that they are not currently embodying. This is why they feel drawn to. This is why they watch your Instagram stories. This is why they listen to your podcast. This is why they sign up for your programs, because they feel like there is something that I'm feel drawn to. So wouldn't it make sense to just invite people more into your world than 90 minutes on a Friday morning? And if you're working in the gift, you actually have the capacity to do that, to really invite people into your world and say, like, okay, be with me. Like, I'm here. If you really care about people, like, why shouldn't you do that? Of course, if you only care about the money and you want to work as less as possible in order to get as much money as possible, everything that I'm talking about here is not of relevance to you. But if you're really caring about people and if you're really wanting to provide value, why not invite people to you? Why not go to the people directly? Why not spend a full weekend with your client and be like, okay, we are sharing this container called life together, and then let's see where the transformation happens. Maybe it happens in our deep breathwork session that we do together. Maybe it will happen over a conversation about breakfast. Maybe it will happen while we go for a walk in the forest. But the more space we allow and the less pressure on all sides there is, like Friday morning, 90 minutes is so much pressure on the coach side and on the client side too. Okay, now, like once a week, I have this space, 7 minutes. Now I need to, probably the transformation won't take place. And for the coach too. So many coaches are pressured. They are walking around with this feeling of, oh, people paid me so much money. Hopefully, I will be able to serve them in the way that they are happy, and hopefully, they will not ask for a refund later. And this pressure really stifles their own creativity and hinders them from putting out their most valuable, most precious work. But if it's just like, okay, I invite you into my space, come, we will be together, and then in the end, if that was valuable to you, I appreciate all the gifts you want to contribute. This makes it easier for the coach, easier for the client, and results in overall service that is like through the roof, completely different level. Yeah. A new paradigm is emerging, friends. A new paradigm is emerging. And this feels like the right moment to share with you what I created over the past. It's already like, I would say it's already in the making for years. Like the active creation time was more recently, but it's what I crafted is really in the works. I think since this time, like deep down, I sense the wrongness of what I did there. I sense the wrongness of what is almost everybody in the coaching industry doing. But I wasn't able to do the shift. But I'm able to do that now, to create a completely different level of coaching experience. One that is 100% focused on serving and that creates a setting where the most profound transformation can take place. And I want to share that with you. And that feels really nice. This beautiful space that I created, and this leads me to the fifth item I brought today. This beautiful space that I created is called Custodia. Custodia is an elevated playing field for new paradigm leaders. It's a 16-week container, out of which the first 3 weeks will be spent in person, day and night, together as a group, 3 weeks together. And then the second 13 weeks will be spent together online in various settings, group settings, one-on-one settings, masterminds, coachings, teachings, workshops, and so on, in order to integrate the shift that took place in person and in order to execute on that, in order to bring our level of service to a completely different level. And this setting, this whole 16-week setting, where I put in all my love, all my creativity, all my experience, everything I have and everything I am, is fully living in the gift. There's no barrier. There's no like, okay, you need to pay. Like in the old setting, like back in the days, I would have charged like 10K for this program. But no, it just feels wrong. I will not do this anymore. I will just invite the right amount of people into this space to be here with me the second cohort of Custodia takes place here in Bali, and the first one, and this is something really special that will probably be one of the last opportunities, maybe, I don't know, feels really like settling here. Probably one of the last opportunities to work with me in Europe for all the German speaking people who are following my work. I will be in Europe, actually in Poland, close to Germany, for the first cohort of Custodia in August. August will be a 3-week offline, in-person immersion in Poland, where we go really, really, really deep. And then afterwards, 13 weeks of online work together. In August, the first cohort of Custodia is starting and is opening its doors for the first squad of new paradigm leaders who are determined, like with full conviction, on serving the shift that is taking place right now on all levels, within their families, within their communities, within their businesses, and with the whole of Gaia. That's the intention for Custodia, to bring our level of service to a completely different level, to be a change agent for what wants to emerge right now. Like all this whole spirit here in the podcast and with the book and so on, to really embody that deep down on a cellular level, on all dimensions, on a physical level, on a mental level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, on like all levels, to really embody that and to raise to it. And that's why it's called raise to a completely new playing field. Raise everything that we are doing, everything we are to dimensions that were previously unimaginable. We are coming together 3 weeks in person for intense container like no other. It has a little bit of the spirit, like over the past weeks, I dove into bits and pieces what I did in the past. It has a little bit of the spirit of certain containers I already created in the past. Maybe if you're German speaking and you're following my work since many years, in 2018 and 2019, I did a project called Awesome People Talentschmiede. The Talentschmiede was a space where we flew with a small group of business starters here to Bali, and we worked together over a month and in person, really like all in, with group sessions and online sessions, and we documented this whole process. We put it on YouTube, and it was accessible for everybody to follow their journeys. And like in the beginning, we did a casting and recruited the most talented, most gifted people, and then we flew here. And like this project was one of, like, there was really sacred work back in the days. It was like I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the whole journey. I did it 3 times in a row. Like it was really intense. And there's a little bit of the space in it. Like we won't do a casting. Like this feels a part. As much as I enjoyed this process, like back in the days, it feels like a part of the old paradigm. We are not like in competition with each other. It's not like I need to outcompete you in order to get a space over there. No, this is not how it works. Like we are all working together. And back in the days, like there was a fixed amount you needed to pay for your casting pass, and in the end, hopefully you were taken to Bali. There will be no fixed prices. Like, no, no, it's all a gift. It's all a gift. This feels like the next level of coaching. I sense that for each and every single individual who went through this process in Custodia, they were unable to work with other coaches, teachers that are still in the old paradigm. Because after experiencing how it could really be, you cannot go back. So with one Custodia after the other, and no, that's not something that I intend to do like once. This is like back in the days, I would have said like, okay, once a year, this is the most high-end program, and we will spend like 3 weeks with a small group. This is like high-end, and people like need to pay a lot of money. No, Custodia will be the new normality. I want to do one container after the other. I want to serve like many people in this 4-month container, and then there will be the next, and then there will be the next, and then there will be the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. In order to serve this paradigm shift as much as possible, like I will be full in. This will be the majority of my time spent working with the current Custodia cohort either in group calls or in one-on-one calls or in person, like here. This will be the majority of my time, not 10% of my time, but really the majority of my time. And then a little bit of my time goes into writing books, which I enjoy a lot too. So if you feel the calling to participate, if you feel the calling to take your playing field to a completely new level, to step up the way you are able to serve, to step up your physical thriving, your mental thriving, your emotional thriving, your spiritual thriving, not in order to be able to say like, okay, look how cool I am. Here's my Instagram selfies. I'm like so enlightened and I'm so fit and I'm so spiritual. No, because you're able to serve more. I believe this is a fundamental characteristic of a truly mature human being. A truly mature human being serves more, contributes more, gives way more than it takes. And that's a dynamic that is like the opposite in our current coaching industry, where people are trying to get as much as they can, trying to make as much revenue as they can. But the amount of service probably goes down over time. I talked to so many people who paid these crazy amounts, 5K, 10K, 15K for coaching programs, where they said like, yeah, that's nice, but I sense that the coach is not really interested in my thriving, is not really interested in my well-being. Of course, I paid a lot of money and they are there for me, but it doesn't feel like a full hell yes alignment with my thriving. And it can't be because of the setting, because of this, and because of that. If we are still perpetuating these two dynamics, like the money thing where all the products have a fixed price tag, and we are doing all these activities outside of serving people in order to be able to someday serve people, if we're still doing that, we can only sacrifice the amount of service that we put out there. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a result of the system. It's a result of the system that the level of service goes down and down and down and down because you are stressed out and you are focusing everything on the sale. It can only be this way. And for me, the only response to that is to step out of this system, to quit doing all this shit that I want to do anymore, and to not put fixed price tags to my products, and to give them. And yeah, sure, there will be people who participate in the 16-week Custodia, which is like probably the most valuable coaching program that is out there. And then in the end, they will pay like maybe $500 because they don't have any more. And that's okay. And that's okay. It's okay because I'm not dependent on this one person giving a crazy amount of money. I'm not dependent on that because I'm serving like the whole time, and I'm serving this person and this person and this person and this person. And I know that through serving not only 10% of my time, but 90% of my time, I'm taken care of. And this touches the most deeply ingrained fear inside all of us. Okay, we go out there and we provide our gifts and we serve people, and in the end, we will not be taken care of. Yeah, sure. If you're serving for an hour or two every day, chances are that there is like 1, 2, 3 clients and they will not gift, and then in the end you will not have enough money to pay your rent. Chances are high that this will happen. And the solution to that is not to revert back into the old paradigm and say like, okay, I will only serve people who are able to pay a lot. The solution is serve fucking more. Serve for 5 hours a day and not for an hour a day. And if you do that, the possibility of you not being cared for diminishes more and more and more and more until it disappears. And you realize, why didn't I do this shift like sooner? Life is so much more relaxed, chilled, aligned. And at the same time, I'm contributing so much more and I'm making so much more impact. Like, it feels like a no-brainer. I'm looking forward to this moment of realization in more and more and more people. And in the meantime, I'm doing it for myself. And I cannot think of doing anything else. So that's my invitation to join me and a bunch of impact entrepreneurs and nature enthusiasts, ambitious visionaries, and parents dedicated to handing over the more beautiful world to their children, and not a world that is fucked. This will be the unique spirit that's coming together at Custodia. First container, August until November, 16 weeks. First 3 weeks offline in Poland. I need to tell you a little bit about the spaces. Like, it's incredible. First Custodia will take place in Poland, in the Białowieża. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. In the Białowieża forest, which is the last primeval forest in all of Europe. In the past, like, all of Europe was covered with this big forest cover. And now we are having these huge cities and nature is on the decline. But there is this part on the border of Poland and Belarus where, like, things are really untouched. And this forest, this will be a really powerful, really energetic, nourishing, nurturing ground for us to make this deep dive that we set out to. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Białowieża Forest. It's beautiful. It's really, really, really beautiful. And the second container, the second cohort of Custodia will start in December. It will take place here in Bali, in my home, in this beautiful area. It's called Jatilui. It's in the center of the island, on the foot of Mount Patukaru, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site too. It's protected. The same as the Białowieża forest. The Patukaru is the biggest still unaltered forest, rainforest area in Bali. Like, so many people are telling me, like, Bali is not the same anymore. And yeah, in a lot of places it is. If you're going south, like, so many big developments and more and more nature gets converted into money, into resources. The same dynamic that is at place in our individual lives, in our business, like this is playing out on the global level too. The conversion of everything into money and the collective losing touch of the spirit of the gift and nature. Nature is a gift. Yeah. That's why we will immerse ourselves in these two beautiful locations, in Jatilui and in Białowieża, in order to be able to do the meaningful work, in order to be able to do the embodiment work on all levels, and arise out of that as an even elevated servant of the more beautiful world, as an even elevated steward, as an even elevated custodian of Gaia. That's the direction in which we are moving. And I'm looking forward to each and every beautiful soul that I'm able to serve in this container. And the first one in Poland and online, and the second one in Bali and online, and the third one and fourth one, and so on and so on. I'm not doing this to arrive some kind of finish line. Arrive at some kind of finish line. It's like, it's the new normality. I want to serve like 5-6 hours a day. I want to do that for the rest of my life because I'm so full. I'm so nourished. I'm so, like, everything is there, and I want to put it out there. I want to put it out there as a gift, not for an hour or two a day, but for the majority of time that I have at my disposal. Looking forward to work with you, to elevate the amount of service you're able to put out there in your family, in your community. Of course, a huge part of Custodia will be to build communities, to build alternative living systems, to build these settings where not only we, but the next generations are able to thrive. This will be a huge part of Custodia, bringing people together who are all, like, into, let's build community, let's build these physical spaces. And at the same time, let's focus on ourselves and let's build ourselves up in the way that we are able to serve at the highest level. And of course, our organizations play a role too, because it's important to bring this whole piece into balance that is consisting of ourselves and our families and our companies and our communities and ultimately the whole of Gaia. That's why the 16-week journey that we are embarking on will be unlike any other coaching program you find out there. because and that's one of the drawbacks that I see too in the coaching industry. Like everything is just with these pinpointed solutions, focused on earning more money, or focused on losing weight, or focused on uh, like even in the more green space, everything is so pinpointed. Like the coaching program only predicated on switching your diet to raw vegan, or starting meditation, or improving your relationship, or whatever. But we cannot look at these dimensions like just in an isolated way. It's not possible to improve your relationship when you leave everything else the same. It's not possible to change your diet. It's not possible to build your business if everything else stays the same. We are invited to tackle all areas at the same time in order to create these ripple effects, bam, so that somehow everything becomes easier. Because when I try to make my relationship in a more beautiful way, then it enables this path when I at the same time change my diet so that I have more energy and that I'm less tired when I come home in the evening. Or maybe I don't even come home in the evening because I arrange my work in a way that I can do it like from home, and that everything blends together, and that maybe even in the future I will be able to live in my dream community, and my clients will come there, and I can be with my friends, and I can be with my children, I can be with my parents, and at the same time I can be with my clients, and then the gifts flow all the way to me, and I'm putting my gifts out there, and everything just works. And we created, like collectively, the fucking more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. And in order to do that, I'm putting everything out there I can and I am. And this is Custodia, taking service to a new level. Everything fully in the gift. There will be, of course, a limited amount of spots. If you feel the calling to participate in that, be it the first one that's taking place from August on in Poland, and then afterwards online, or the second one that's taking place here in Bali in Jatiluwi from December on. I will link you all the details below. You can apply. You can let me know who you are, where you are right now, and I can sense what kind of magic we can create together. And then we hop on a call, and if everything is aligned, bam, you're in. This concludes today's episode of our Gaia's Custodians podcast. Big shifts are underway. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, coaching industry, for being how you are right now, and for money driven you are right now, and for malleable you are too. Because when something old ceases to work like this, it will transform into something new. This is how nature works. There's no waste. Like a dying leaf falls to the ground and turns to food for something new. And that's my intention with Custodia, to build a manifestation of this new way of serving, new way of working together, new way of coaching, new way of business, new way of living, new way of being in alignment with the whole as a custodian of Gaia. Thank you for our shared space and time together. Looking forward to the next one.